Welcome back to America Decides. One day, that's how long it took for California to sue the Trump administration, or, from another point of view, how long it took for the Trump administration to provoke California into filing a lawsuit. California and many other states are challenging the president's executive order that seeks to end birthright citizenship. It is a move that California's Attorney General Rob Bonta called, quote, unconstitutional and un-American. The Attorney General joins us now. Sir, it's good to have you with us. What is the status of the legal fight over birthright citizenship, and where do you think it's going to ultimately end up?
Right now, we have over 20 states, District of Columbia, City and County of San Francisco, that have all sued the federal administration for its violation of the Constitution on day one. It's trampling of the U.S. Constitution. It's attack on U.S. citizens and children. It's un-American conduct. And a judge has already declared that the executive order is unconstitutional. It has restrained it for now, any implementation of that executive order, and in doing so said there hasn't been a clearer case in 4 decades. It's mind-boggling that the Department of Justice attorneys for the United States could come forward with such an argument and saying that it was blatantly unconstitutional. So we think that this judge's early determination is a signal of more to come, that other judges, if it goes to appeal or other judges weigh in, they will find the same thing, that this conduct is blatantly unconstitutional and the president has overstepped his jurisdiction by a mile.
Mr. Attorney General, how much do you fear that this Trump administration wants this legal fight, wants it to go all the way to the Supreme Court, and is calculating the Supreme Court, as currently constituted, will revisit one and then overturn the historic and precedential understanding of what birthright citizenship is in our country?
I don't fear that. I think it may be their hope, their desire, their reason for advancing this fringe theory, but it's a fringe theory. The plain and unambiguous language of the 14th Amendment, the Citizenship Clause therein clearly states that all persons born in the United States are U.S. citizens. The U.S. Supreme Court has determined that the Constitution means what it says it means multiple times, and it's been the law of this country for over 125 years. So that may be their intention, but I think they really are throwing a Hail Mary here, and the strong weight of the law and the facts are in our favor. We believe will prevail.
Mr. Attorney General, more broadly on the question of immigration and enforcement therein, there will be raids in California. You know that. The Trump administration has made that clear. You have law in California that disallows local participation in those raids. How will that clash play out?
Not really a clash. It's a fully appropriate use of state and local resources to focus on fighting crime, not focus on civil immigration enforcement. There are entities, agencies, departments in the federal government whose job is to enforce immigration laws. They are certainly well within their rights to lawfully do that and may do that. But what they cannot do is conscript or commandeer or force California and local jurisdictions within California to do their job for them. They may do their job, but they may not force California and local law enforcement to do their job for them. We want to focus on enforcing the criminal laws of the state of California, arresting and prosecuting criminals, not be involved in civil immigration enforcement. So I think our roles are clear. The Constitution is clear. The 10th Amendment right for the states to exercise its police power is very clear. So we'll see how it plays out, but we know that we're well within our rights, and if the federal government acts lawfully, they can certainly act within their realm of authority as well.
Mr. Attorney General, as you know, California, Southern California specifically, has been devastated by the wildfires in Los Angeles. 2 issues President Trump has raised. One, that to obtain federal aid to assist those ravaged by those fires, California needs to change its voter ID law. And he recently signed an executive order seeking to overhaul or take federal control of California's water policy and instructing the Office of Management and Budget to review all funding for land, water, and disaster responses that flow to California. What are you going to do about that?
My hope and belief is that the president will do what all presidents before him have done, what the time-honored tradition of this country is, which is that the president and the federal administration provide aid to states in need when they are confronting and wrestling with and suffering from natural disasters. What President Biden did for Florida when they suffered from a hurricane. It's what President Biden did for Texas when they suffered from a hurricane. He didn't ask if they're a red state or a blue state. He said, this is a state with Americans in need, and I will provide disaster relief. That's what President Trump should do as well. He ran to be and is the president of the United States of America, not the red states of America, and should provide relief without conditions to California as soon as possible, because, as you mentioned, Angelenos and Californians are suffering and deserve the support.
And do you see yourself filing any legal action to block this executive order seeking to exercise federal control over the Central Valley Project and overhaul or overstep existing state and local policies regarding water?
We'll assess that action as appropriate and if it's implemented. We'll certainly continue to follow our North Star, which is if the president acts unlawfully, if he breaks the law, if he acts unconstitutionally, if he violates federal law or other applicable laws, we will take him to court. It is a very modest request to ask for a president that is law-abiding. And if he breaks the law, we'll hold him accountable in court, as we had to, unfortunately, on day one, when he trampled over the Constitution with his birthright citizenship executive order. So we'll assess the conduct to follow, how it's applied in California with respect to our deployment of our water resources. And if the president is acting unlawfully, we'll take him to court.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me.